Okay, hello, Hoggies worldwide. I am Dave Casler, amateur radio call sign KE0OG, and we're having just a little last minute kerfuffle here at home. I wanted to make sure, since we're doing the drawing tonight, that I had the latest mail. My wife stopped by the post office yesterday, which is May 31st, after all the mail had been put out. So that means that she's just going to check the car to see if there's any in the back there. Looks like there is.
Sorry.
No problem.
There's a bunch.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. All right, we do have mail here. Let me close this door. All right, let's see what we've got. We've got a few more. Here is from Dan Hansel. And here is from KE0OG Doug Dry. KE6 STW. Somebody in Columbus, Ohio. Okay, we've got quite a few. And I'm going to open these just to make sure that there's nothing in here other than just entries. You know, I'd hate to put something in. Now, you know what I do for the shirt, these buttons. I've had this shirt so long that the buttons don't hold. So, one of the, because I have to redo them every time I put the microphone on. So we're using the webcam microphone for today. So let's see, we'll take this one right here, and it's an entry. I'll put that over there with those. Okay, this one is an entry. This one is a big one from Atlanta Metro. By the way, a single forever star, a single forever stamp will cover a full ounce. Okay, not just half an ounce. And this has got a letter inside. It's just submitting his name for the drawing. And let's see what else we've got here. Now the drawing, of course, is for that next gen hotspot. And this is just the entry. And I wanted to make sure we got all of these before we had the entry. We have a problem where we live right now. They're redoing Highway 550. And they've done a lot of work on it already, even though it's just now the 1st of June. And they've got a place between here and Ridgeway where you've got to stop and wait for quite a while. They're doing some paving. Then there's a place just north of here where you have to stop for quite a while. And you have to stop for quite a while, and the problem with stopping up there is, it was raining and thundering today, and they were out there working. They're putting in a turn lane for an RV park up there. It's on a curve, and I think kind of a bad spot for accidents and stuff, so they're putting in some turn lanes to try and reduce that. And okay, just double checking, make sure these are actually entries, because occasionally some people try to contact me this way, which is a fine way of contacting me. And so I always open these to make sure that they really are entries, and they are, all of them. Let's get these in the right order. The problem with all these different size things and the fact that they're open means that they're all different sizes and it's hard to do a drawing. So I'll take all of these and I'll put them down flat. By the way, this is the cheapest way to enter. This is a postcard, an actual real-life postcard. They're cheaper than the now 66-cent first-class mail. Good grief. When I was a kid, it was like 10 cents. And when my dad was a kid, it was like 3 cents. And I guess it originally started out with postcards being the penny post. We don't have all that many entries here this month. I'm just going to shuffle them up a little bit. We'll do the drawing in just a little bit. For those who are interested in the aircraft, I was up at Delta Field today. Since I had to go to Delta for a doctor's appointment, I just, braving the traffic going that way. It added a half an hour to the 20 minutes it normally takes to get into southern Montrose. So instead of 20 minutes, it was 50 minutes. And so I left plenty early for this appointment that I had, got there just in time. And it's the pulmonologist that I'm seeing. A lot of people have expressed concern about my well-being. Whenever I go outside and do any video out there, I'm always huffing and puffing. And the problem is asthma. And it's brought on, and they confirmed it's asthma with the appropriate testing and all that sort of stuff. And so I was, anyway, I think what I need to do is take my rescue inhaler prior to going out in the backyard. Because this last time when I filmed, which hasn't been in the video yet, it's a way that an Augie, and I've got his name, this Augie, Kent S. Klein. He goes by the name of Stephen, and he sent this drawing of a way to take 10-foot pieces of pipe from Home Depot and putting them together to form a very sturdy 30-foot mast. So I bought the pipes, we put them together, I bought the pulleys and stuff that we need for them, and I'm going to be putting those on next time I see my assistant. And we'll go out there, put that on, and erect it. Okay? And we're going to use this really heavy black stuff that came with the 7.3 antennas that came from Australia. He sent rope for the guying of the antenna, and it is thick, sturdy stuff. So we'll probably use that as the mechanism that we would use for that. So I've got these all sorted with the latest entries. Okay, and it's going to be the next gen, which is over here, I think. No, I moved it. And knowing me, once I move something, I can never find it again. But I will find it. Now, whoever gets this, where'd it go? Maybe my assistant knows. He had real trouble with his neck on Monday. He was going to try and come on Wednesday since he's out of school now. He just ended the school year as a junior, so he's now a senior waiting to go back to school. So I should have him, I hope, for another year before he runs off to college or a mission or the military or whatever he's going to do. A good kid. And So we'll get that, when we do the drawing, we'll get that off as soon as possible. Now, the next gen is built on a Raspberry Pi 3, not the 4. The software is the same that is used with all the little thingies that go with the Raspberry Pis to turn them into hotspots. So whoever wins it is going to have to dig through that and make that work. I've got one here from Bridgecom Systems that I need to review, and I've had it out, I've been playing with it, and I want to actually make it work and be sure that I've made it work before I do the review of it. But it looks like a pretty nice one. I've gotten another few things too. This is the KE0OG screwdriver set to end all screwdriver sets, the sort of mother of all screwdriver sets. And it's got a little electric one here. And this is a great big mag mount for an antenna that has as a connector an SO239. And that's going to go with wherever it went. This antenna, which also came from Bridgecom Systems. This is a, and it can be bent over like this for in the garage. This screws onto an SO239, and it is a 3-band antenna. It's 2 meters, 1.25 meters, and 70 centimeters antenna. And it's designed to go with this radio right here, which is the 578 UV, which is a mobile rig, because it does 1.25 meters too. So I've got that for the testing of that. We also have a little key light mini for those of you who also do YouTube. We got lots of stuff. I'm trying to get through the pile of stuff that I've gotten with the intent of reviewing it. So let's see what we've got here. I see that William Myers, KE0OG, has added $10 to the channel funds. Thank you. He says, thank you for inspiring me to get my general and extra class license, and you are most certainly welcome, and I appreciate that. Let's start up at the top here. William Myers, KE0OG, says, hi Dave and all Augies, and happy Thursday. Terrence, 2 Echo 0 India Papa Kilo. Hi Dave, hope you're keeping well. I am actually doing pretty good. Let's see, Friday morning at 01:42 here, as I type this, it shows 58 here UTC, because this is UTC is 1 hour off from British summertime. Okay, there are some terrible fires going on right now in Canada, and those of you up there can give us an update. But apparently there's been terrible drought across most of Canada, and the fires are burning like crazy. They showed on the television fires in Nova Scotia, which is way to the east, because I thought the smoke was coming from like British Columbia and Alberta and so on up there, but I don't know where it comes from. It gets down here. The doctor today thought it was affecting my asthma, so not by much. So our best to all of you. We've been through some terrible fire years. Of course, California State Farm Insurance is now no longer going to write new policies for California. It says it can't afford to. between the flooding and the wildfires and everything like that, it's just been, a blitz to their finances. Now, I know my insurance is written by USAA, and that's a United Services Automobile Association. It started out providing an inter-insurance exchange, meaning a member-owned entity, where everybody put money into a pool, and the money from the pool was used to help military officers with car problems. Now, it's since greatly expanded its base, but I joined as a cadet at BYU in the Air Force ROTC, and I've been a member ever since. They're a great company, but they insure a lot of military retirees, and a lot of them live in Florida, which has had some horrible hurricanes. That's another place that I guess State Farm said it wouldn't insure. So USAA keeps a huge financial reserve. What they do is, all of us, since it's a member-owned association, each of us has what's called a subscriber savings account, where part of our premium every year goes into this pile of money. And if we ever leave USAA, we can get it back. Or if you're like me and old, they start pushing a little bit at you every year. But I hope they're doing okay, because if they do have to do a lot of payouts, that subscriber savings account's just going to go pew, down like that. It is their financial reserve. Okay, let's see. By the way, I went up to Delta Airport today. Since I ran the gauntlet of going north, I went on ahead up to Delta Airport to look at my airplane. They've got it in the hangar. It's sitting on all three wheels. But they were showing me some things that were minor things that broke that they've got to fix before they put everything back together. So hopefully that'll be, fine. But they could not give me an estimate as to when it would be fixed. The problem is they've got, my airplane's pretty inexpensive little piece. And these other airplanes are much bigger, and they make much more money on them. And so my poor aircraft, I think, is their project piece they work on when they get tired of working on the other ones. Anyway, we'll get it back one day. So we'll figure that out. Okay, let's see. David, AC3HT. Hello, Dave and Augie's checking in from northeastern Pennsylvania. Current temps about 76 degrees F and very dry conditions already for quite some time now. Northeastern Pennsylvania. Okay, that's near, no, that's up, okay, close to New England then. Optical Man Jeff, KE0OG. Hi, Dave. From Sioux Falls, South Dakota, where it is 89 degrees and partly cloudy. It is 54 degrees here with 58% relative humidity. We had some big, hairy thunderstorms today and a fair amount of rain. I'm showing here, only 0.06 of an inch. As I was going north, I ran into a lot of rain. And when I came home today, I know a back road. And yeah, it probably takes a little longer, but I took that back road because it completely circumvents both construction sites. Oh, and I got to tell you, at Chipeta Road, this is the 5th new signal that they've put on 550 since we moved here. They put in 1, 2, 3, 4, and now they put in one at Chipeta. And wouldn't you know, it's my first time to go through that signal. They made it operational today. And what did I get? A red light, of course. The signals know I'm coming, and they'll give me red lights. So there it is. Okay, very good. Reed AB8AS, hello Dave and Augie's worldwide from here in West Virginia. Neil Marsh, good evening Dave, and all from W7NRM in Mount St. Helens country. Robert Varner, hello from KC2TEL. Terrence, 10 degrees centigrade here, which equates to 50 degrees Fahrenheit. That's nice June weather. Chuck Schreiber, good evening Dave and all Augies worldwide. In 5 KVO from the Hill Country, South Texas. Enjoying my front row seat in Dave's classroom. Well, thank you. Ed, KN4RWQ. This is where I come after the alligator net on 7.255. Hello, he says. And hello to you also. William Myers, KA8GIM. I am retiring tomorrow from Rockwell Automation after 34 years. Well, you have undoubtedly seen a great deal. I think Collins was taken over by Rockwell, and Rockwell's done a lot of other things. I know they made the flight computer for the MX missile. I know that because I worked for Northrop, and we made the inertial measurement unit, which is about this big, which at the time, this was before GPS was really out. They were rolling it out. At the time, it was the most accurate navigation instrument known to mankind. It was a fascinating thing. You could navigate with that thing all the way around the world through space and end up within a very close distance to where you want it to go. Okay, let's see. Lefty, thank you, Loretta, for getting David's mail. Thank you. Robert Varner, congratulations on your retirement, and I say that to you also, William. Make sure that you've got some sort of retirement project that's going to keep you going forever. Of course, ham radio is as good as any. If you are already very active and on the air, then get extra involved with club activities, help teach classes in public schools. You got to have something where you're not just living, but you have something to live for. I remember when my dad retired. He retired from Los Angeles City Schools at age 60. And I sat him down before he retired and made him promise me, I'm sure he really wanted his kid to tell him this, and made him promise me that he would not resign from his position on the State Board of Special Education. He was a member of that board, and for a while its chairman. I said 2 years. 2 years. Okay, and in the meantime, take all your art classes and everything you want to take so that by the time you resign from the state board, you will be well into your retirement project. And doggone it, if he didn't do that. He did that. And I think because he was always a workaholic. And, I think he made the transition. He lived to be 94. So I guess he did okay with that. All right, let's see. Congrats, yes, absolutely. Okay. William says, yeah, thank you, 95% excited, but 5% terrified. I will tell you someone who's more terrified than that, and that's your wife. She's not going to know what to do with you home all the time. And you may find yourself invited to go have breakfast with your friends or something like that. Jealous. I'll never be able to retire. And, you know, I thought I had retired and then discovered I was a YouTuber. So this does take most of my time. It's like a job. And it is something that supports us in retirement and allows me to get all sorts of amateur goodies for tests and bring them to you. And since you have provided that funding to me, I like to think of these things as not just mine, but yours. And so I want to tell you about them and what they do and how well they do it and all that kind of thing. So I've got stuff to work with here, a lot of stuff to work with that I need to do things with. Let's see. Hi, Dave from the very wet Space Coast. I recently put up a 40-20-10 fan dipole, inverted V, 35-foot center, oriented east to west, but the V pointing north. Which direction should be the best radiation? I did a video on that not very long ago. If you go into the homepage for my channel and go through the videos, there's one in there where this guy, he had an inverted V, but he brought one end of it around like this, so it went up and then came back in a different direction. And the net result of that is that the arrow, if you will, points in the direction of the best propagation. It's nearly as good going back the other way. But the thing about inverted V's is that they have a fairly fat circle on the diagram, so they'll radiate really in all directions, slightly better in some than others, but not by much. Okay, so pulling that V around, I mean, there is a limit to how much you can pull it around. I also did another video on, everybody says you've got to do an inverted V at 120-degree central angle. So I modeled this, and I went with 120 and 90 and 60 and one other, I can't remember just which. The bottom line was that the performance of the antennas was not dramatically different. Very interesting. Okay, let's see. Very wet Space Coast. Yes, the salty ham. Good evening, everyone. William Myers, KE0OG. Neil Marsh, thank you. And Lefty, thank you. And good. Congratulations on reaching this major milestone in life. You know, as you get to be my age, our age, a lot of you are my age, we go through milestones in reverse order. When you graduated from college or high school, everybody says your future's in front of you. Go out and do wonderful things. And now at our age, our future's behind us. And now we're going to coast for a while. So I hope you've prepared well and that you and yours are really looking forward to it. This ADHD Live, hello Dave and everyone from Northern Virginia this week. Lots of DMR repeaters for me to explore this week, and glad to see you this evening. KK7AQN, Keith. Neil Marsh, the salty ham got mustard. Salty ham, haha. David Brennan, would the ICOM 7300 be okay to have in an unheated garage? I would say yes, but why? You're talking about putting your ham shack in an unheated garage. It's I'm more worried about the ham than the rig. If it's really cold out there, you're not going to spend a lot of time out there. There are temperature limits in the manual. See if I can find them. Okay, control commands, let's go to 18. Connection information. It doesn't have it there. It must be way up in the front. I'm one of the people who printed out the full manual because it's got so many things in it. But there's no specs. And specification 16. Okay, 60. Whoops. Hit the wrong button. 16. Specifications. Here we go. Okay, general. Powers, frequency, stability, power consumption, dimensions, weight, transmitter, receiver. Operating temperature range, minus 10 degrees C to plus 60, which is the same as plus 14 to plus 140. So it's not going to want to operate in the middle of the winter if it's that cold. The problem that you will have is that the thing won't heat evenly and so on. Normally cold is not a problem for electronics, but a plus 140 means it can sit in a car in like Phoenix, you know, and be okay. Okay, let's go back up here where we were. Baker, hello Dave, and all Augies from Chattanooga, WA4BAK. Ted Bowman, have you had a treadmill test, Dave? Oh yeah, I've had all that stuff. The big test, the treadmill's right there. The big test on the treadmill is getting on it. The doctor says a half hour of exercise a day, which for me is a good walk. I tried doing 30 minutes 2 days in a row, and I was wiped out for the next several days. So I'm working up to it so I can work up to the 30 minutes a day and keep doing that. You know, we've got an error. If this becomes a problem, we'll switch over to the local internet. William Myers, KE0OG, and he was the one who added $10 to the chat revenue. I see more has been added since. Lefty William Myers, I'm even more jealous. You're an extra and a retiree. Eddie K6SDW is a senior in high school. I was only interested in one subject, and it wasn't ham radio. Yes, it was girls. Yeah, this ADHD life. Was it cars? No. Lefty inspired by Dave. There you go. Neil Marsh. ADH life with headlights. Glenn Martin, hello from the far west Missouri area. Rain here. 71 degrees Fahrenheit, 88% relative humidity. Wow. Lefty, I live in Florida and I have my insurance with State Farm. Yeah, what they said was they're not going to write new policies, but they would continue to support the policies that exist. So if you got it, keep it. So I imagine the rates are going to go up. Okay, State Farm said their profits from the last 2 decades are gone. I believe it. I know USAA is extremely conservative. And that's why, like I said, they keep that subscriber savings account. It is actually, mine has grown to be several years worth of premiums that's in there. It's kind of nice to have an insurance company that at the end of the year, they take what they didn't spend on claims, put part of it away in the subscriber savings account, and send you a check for the rest. So that's kind of nice, being member-owned. It's a not-for-profit group. Phil Lewis, hi Dave, happy Thursday. Headed out to North Oregon coast for the CPAC ham convention tomorrow. Going to attend the DX workshop in the day and try out QRP for radios on the beach at 7 p.m. and very good for you. Harry Rundle, Overley, Maryland. Temp 75 degrees and calm. Hope all is well with you and fellow Augies. I think so. We've got a guy retiring. Kathy E. Hi, Dave. I've joined the local ham repeater group. I have some local ham friends, and I'm going to take the general on the 17th. Kathy, everyone here wishes you the best of luck, and our hopes that you will pass that with flying colors and get yourself an HF station and just have a lot of fun. Todd, hi Dave, I have a Mountain Topper QRPCW rig. Reverse beacon always spots me in 0.2 to 0.3 megahertz below what my rig is set to transmit on. Is this par for the course? No. You're talking about 300 kilohertz off. If not, what should I do to fix it? Take your rig to a friend and see how accurate the frequency setting is on that. I mean, that's a lot off. But transmit to a friend who can determine your frequency. Most of the, full-size HF radios are extremely accurate and can be within a hertz of accuracy. And they can tell you if maybe there's something a little weird going off with your rig. I mean, it could be something as weird as your rig transmits on 2 frequencies at once. That can happen. You've got heterodyning against a local oscillator and getting something on either side of that. That could happen. But I think what's happening, just double check that. Let's see. Okay. Max, see, I'm a newbie. I have a 2-meter radio and a 2-meter dual band radio. Is there a duplexer I can use so I can use both at the same time on a single antenna? Yes and no. You can take a dual band antenna, attach it to a duplexer. And this is it right here. This is the MFJ 916B. Okay, so you can use this to use one antenna that's dual band, and then on the correct one of these, do 70 centimeters, and on the other one, do 2 meters. Okay? But you can't do 2 meters on this. That won't work. And if you blow up the other antenna, this device is not very big. This is little thing here. It uses what's called a circulator. I don't know that I've ever actually reviewed this. I'll put that in my pile to do. But the thing that's important is you're going to be 2 meters on one, 70 centimeters on the other. Now, since you have a radio that is dual band, you might take a closer look at it to see if it will do already whatever it is you're looking to do with the 2 radios. For example, dual watch. Dual watch means it can be receiving a channel on 2 meters and a channel on 70 centimeters at the same time. And you can set it up to hear both or hear which one came first or something like that. I've even seen radios, and this is really weird. I don't have one right here. It has 2 push-to-talk buttons depending on whether you want the upper frequency or the lower frequency that's on the dial. Okay, so it may be when you list your requirements that the dual band radio already meets them, and that would be the simplest thing to do. Okay, Larry, AK0Z, Rockwell Collins, I worked there, yes. Ted Bowman, KK7KHK. Good evening, Dave and all from Meridian, Idaho. David Brennan, my first computer was a Rockwell AIM-65. That's going back a while. My first computer was a Radio Shack Model 1. So, Ted Bowman, thanks for your service. Thank you to all who are veterans here. We have quite a few. William Myers, KAHEIM, Larry. I worked with some Collins engineers in Cedar Rapids. That's Collins territory. Terrence says, my next project is going to Germany for the Friedrichshafen. I'm certain I said that wrong. The Friedrichshafen ham radio show. Also going to Stuttgart and Heidelberg. Oh, 3 places I would love to go, and I'd love to go to that show. That is the second largest ham radio convention in the world. And Dayton beats it out a little bit. Dayton usually averages around 30,000. Now, I thought, since I didn't make it to Dayton, why don't I go to Oshkosh, which is the great big giant general aviation gathering in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. And so I started looking at it to see what it would take to do that. Thought about taking the RV there, you know. They have an RV camp that'll host 40,000 people. And I looked at it. Their average attendance is 600,000 people. That is 20 times the size of Dayton. Of course, it's spread over an entire airport, county class airport, 2 runways at 90 degrees. And I also looked and was say you're going to do a lot of walking. One gal, I guess, had a odometer on her leg or something and clocked 60 miles. This is a week-long gathering. Clocked 60 miles in that week. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm going to need to get a scooter if I go there because I can't do that much walking. So it's still tempting. You know, I can always go at the last minute, but wow, that'd be a lot of people. It really looks like fun, and I guess every pilot needs to go to Oshkosh at least once. I guess a lot of people get hooked on it. So, I retired. My wife tried to shift her work to me. Well, I said I'd do the laundry, and she finally gave up and took it back from me because she wanted it done a certain way, and I always forgot to do it. So anyway, she has her chores, and heaven help me if I get in the way. She will let me unload the dishwasher, and occasionally even take out the trash. If I don't take out the trash exactly on time, she'll take it out. And I almost have to rush to take the chore away from her. But anyway, we've had a good time. We're going up to Utah later this month to a general aviation conference put on by the state of Utah, and in collaboration with AOPA, the Aircraft Owners and Pilots Association, and I am a member. And one of the things I really want to attend is the Rusty Pilot Seminar, because I have not flown since like October, so I'm definitely rusty. I did see my airplane today. It's on its wheels, but they've got a lot of things they need to do. And they're doing a little at a time, I think. Okay, let's see. William Myers, thank you, Dave, for the advice and kind words. I do have plans for things to do. Amateur radio, metal detecting, and yes, my wife has lots, and I mean lots of things she wants me to do. I know how that goes. Ralph Leland, hi, Dave, and everybody. K4TA in Fork Union, Virginia. 3 Henry 21. William, congrats. I retired from IT after 40 years. Scary at first, but you'll soon be saying, why didn't I do this sooner? What I said fairly quickly was, how did I ever find time to work? Got so many things going on. One of the nice things about being a YouTuber is that if I want to sleep in, I sleep in. Couldn't do that before. Let's see. Good weekend. Museum Boats on the Air weekend. Yes, we're doing that as a club here in Montrose. There was a USS Montrose. It was a Liberty ship. And the city was given the Bell when the ship was scrapped. And the Bell resides in a out-of-the-way place downtown. And if you know where it is, you can find it. And so we're eligible to do museum ships on the air as long as we are in visual sight of the Bell. And so we will be doing that. Also, this up in Delta, we're having our annual Swap Fest as a club. I also have the Experimental Aircraft Association Club. So maybe I'll go up early to the our hand club Swap Fest and then go on up. And it's just around the corner from there up to the airport to the EAA. Let's see. Yeah, so we will be doing museum ships on the air. We got a special call sign K0P, which was apparently very similar to the call sign that was used by the ship. And it's a special event call sign. Somebody else had grabbed it for this weekend, but we went to them and pleaded and pleaded and pleaded, and they relented and allowed us to use it again this year. Those special event call signs, the one-by-one calls, you have it for a week. The league manages them, and they're for special events. And so, you know, if you have to be careful in responding to one of these that you send it to the right place. I guess there's some place you can go look, see who had it when. Okay, hope you have okay. My shack is in the garage because I rent. I have a small 1500 watt electric heater, but it doesn't do much after 15 or so, but it warms my feet enough I can talk for a few hours. Well, very good. James Rockhold, James K5HLJ from Claremore, Oklahoma. Watched a lot of your recorded videos, but first live chat, I think. Well, welcome. What we usually do during this period of time is just chat with each other and see what people are doing and so on. Let's see. Here is from Sean, KM6NFO, who has added $20 to the chat revenue and says, Dave, thanks for all you do for me and all the Augies. 73 from beautiful Sacramento, California, where I hope it is not too flooded. I've been watching the Blanco Lirio channel, is keeping us pretty much up to date on the floods out there and the reappearance of Lake Tulare. And crazy, wow. But thank you very much for the $20 for the chat revenue. 3 Henry 21, good that you and or your YL have things planned. My best advice is to have stuff to fill the void or you'll go nuts. Yes. We're raised to work and we identify ourselves by our work. It's just a male thing. I don't know, maybe women are doing it nowadays too. When I grew up, women identified themselves as part of a family, being a mother. That was when somebody asked, "Who are you?" Well, I'm the mother of so-and-so. And, even nowadays, you ask a guy, who are you? And I would say, well, I'm, a systems engineer for IBM. And so on. We tend to identify with our work, and that goes away when we retire. Fortunately, I had started this channel in 2009, and I did not retire till 2013, 10 years ago. And it was kind of funny the way it happened. Our yearly annual evaluations depended on a lot of factors, and my boss calculated mine wrong. He rated me as though I were a full-time employee when in fact I was a part-time employee. And so I looked at the ranking he gave me and went, oh my goodness, they're setting me up to let me go. And so I ran the finances and said, if I were let go by IBM, would I be able to survive? And the answer was a surprising yes. And so I called my boss back and I said, you made a mistake. I'm part-time. Do you remember? He goes, oh, yeah, that's right. So he recalculated it and gave me a good review. And then I told him, but I'm retiring anyway. So, and within a few months, I was retired. So there you go. Okay. Oh, yes. Ted Bowman. So glad to hear your treadmill was okay, Dr. Ted Bowman, MD. Yeah, it's not a heart issue. It's a lung issue. Asthma is what they've diagnosed it as after going through everything under the sun. I mean, at first they looked at chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, or COPD, and all of that sort of thing. And I've always had a problem with getting winded easily. And I used to do a lot of walking. When I was a Mormon missionary in the Philippines, we didn't have bicycles or cars or anything. We walked. We took public transportation where we could, but we walked. We did a lot of walking. And so when I got home, I didn't mind walking long distances at all. Running was another story, but walking was fine. And as I've gotten older, when I went to Dayton last year, I walked the first day, which was the Friday, to visit all of the vendors. And then Saturday, I wanted to go out and see the flea market. So I rented one of those little scooters. And everybody thought, oh, I'm in terrible shape. But I'd pop up and out of it anytime somebody wanted to talk. So it was just so much walking, I couldn't do it. And then for the Sunday part of it, I didn't rent one, so I only rented it for one day. I think if I were to go to Oshkosh, I'd have to rent one every day. They do allow them. It's so crowded there that I can see where that might be a problem. But I don't know, I did it at Dayton, so. Ben Manley got forced to retire from 43 from a work injury, but now no money to do much of anything. Well, Ben, I hope that you have set up for yourself a nice HF station so that you can get on the air and talk to your friends and get on the nets that you like to get on, and once in a while try a contest or something like that. Field Day is coming up this month. But I understand, and I'm glad you're ham, because that gives you something to do that once you're set up doesn't require much money at all to actually operate. I trust that the work, it sounds like from what you're saying, is the work injury is still a handicap for you. There is some bit that you can get Social Security disability. And if you can get veterans disability too, that helps because any retirement money, well, I don't know, it doesn't sound like you were military. David Brennan has added $20 to the chat revenue. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate that. William Myers, thank you. Yes, I was blessed that I started planning for this many years ago. Jason DiCarlo, hi Dave from Delta, Pennsylvania. I just watched a tardigrade, a water bear, lay an egg under a microscope. Pretty neat. W3IG. Yeah, those tardigrades are weird creatures. They look like miniature bears, you know, like an overstuffed bear toy. And I understand they're almost impossible to kill. You could put them on the moon in the vacuum there and come back 10 years later and pick it up, warm it up, give it some oxygen, and it would come back alive. I mean, they just really something. Okay, Bigolino. Okay, so I recently watched a video of yours talking about vertical radials. You like insulated radial wires, but then you mentioned having a ground rod connected to the radial plate. I'm confused. Yes. You got to think in terms of radio frequencies. Okay, those insulated wires out there act as a counterpoise. A counterpoise is something capacitive that you can shove energy into it and it'll shove it back. Okay, like pushing on a spring. Now, if you use uninsulated radials, they can make some contact with the ground and they act more as a ground rod, which is not a reactive thing, than they do as a counterpoise, which is a reactive thing. Now, at the center of all those radials, you want to attach that to ground. And my good vertical out there, the one from Step IR, it's a Step IR Big IR, has a ground rod at the very center of it. It connects to the radial plate, which connects to the coax shield. Okay, and then the center of the coax comes and goes to the part that goes vertical. And what happens is, yes, all those radials are grounded at DC, but they are not. They are grounded at RF, but only at one end. And that's the center of the antenna, where everything works against. The whole point of a vertical is that the Earth acts as a reflector. And I did this in a video for the general, I think the general class. I put a mirror on the table and held a piece of wire down on it, and in the mirror you could see the other half of the wire. And I says the mirror is like ground. It reflects the other half. You can see the other half. And that's how the waves form and shape. They come down, hit the ground, and so on, and go out and do their thing. Now, if you want to put radials in, the problem with ground is that it's a lousy ground. Ground doesn't make a very good ground. What makes a good ground is something metallic. Seawater makes a wonderful ground. A normal lake, freshwater lake, lousy ground. So anyway, you put these wires out in a circle, and it works with the antenna and the electromagnetic field to create the field that goes out and away. It serves the purpose of a very good ground. If you did have a very good ground, like seawater, you wouldn't need the radials, okay, because the seawater would do it for you. Another thing you can do if you want to just put a great big giant disc of metal out there. I've gotten some comments from some people of late that they have used aluminum mesh, like from a window screen, aluminum mesh as a counterpoise for a Wolf River Coils TIA, take it along antenna, which, by the way, is one of the videos that's coming. I think I already put the first half of it out there. We put the thing together, put it out there, did some preliminary testing, and now we've got to do the real testing where I'm going to take that thing out and put it in a part of the yard that's not real close to other antennas and see how it performs. The stuff I did in the testing was, I only had a 10-foot piece of coax. I just wanted to see kind of how it would do. The problem with the Wolf River antenna is you don't know where to put the slider. Now, if you're using a super antenna, same kind of thing. It's got a slider on the loading coil. But it's got a gauge that will show you kind of where to start. I need to get one of those and test that too. Okay. Whoops. Okay. It bumped up on me. Okay, we saw Sean, KM6NFO. His $20 added to the chat revenue from beautiful Sacramento. I hope Sacramento's not underwater. There's a lot of water down there. This is what's got for it. Let's see, David Brennan. Let's see, thank you, yes. Okay, here we go. Could it be that Todd's radio is running in split mode? You know, that is a good idea. That is a good idea. You may have your radio set up to transmit on one frequency and receive on another. A lot of these new QRP radios, like the QCX, the QRP Labs radios, will do split. And if you set it up in split and you don't know it's in split, it'll do that, and then you wonder why you never hear responses. Okay. Tardigrades are cool. Weird, but cool, yes. Kathy E. Good luck. You will get it. And then go for the extra. My recommendation, which occasionally somebody follows my recommendation, is that you get your general, spend a couple years on the air in the general bands. And then when you get your extra, it will mean so much more to you. That's my suggestion. Okay, good evening from Tennessee, from Baseman Jr. 100. David Brennan, you need a golf cart for Oshkosh. Yeah, I know. That's really gets around. I don't know what they would charge to rent them. I know they use the golf carts for the business of Oshkosh. And they're constantly giving rides and stuff like that. I'll have to see if I could get one. I'd sure love to do that. Phil, KE2QIK, hello to all Augies from Kalamazoo, Michigan. Ed Valkenburg, greetings from the Netherlands. Hello. It is, I show 1:49 here, UTC. So 2:49, 3:49. Almost 4 o'clock in the morning on the continent. And you are a devoted aficionado if you come in at that time of the morning. Welcome. Good to have you here. Edhem Blokovich, hello, sir. Optical Man Jeff throws in $15. Thanks, Dave, for all you do for the ham radio hobby. You are a national treasure. You know, my wife got an email from a friend in Montrose who said that they had a customer come in and he had a kid in tow. A kid, I'm guessing the kid had to be 10, 12, 14, somewhere in there. And the kid says, Daddy, we're so close to David Casler. Do you think we can see him? And of course, had I known that, I would have immediately invited them over. If you just, because it's a kid, I want to do everything I can to help the kid get really interested in ham radio. You know what attracts youth to ham radio clubs is other youth. So you've got to go through that problem of getting several youth. Once you've got several youth, it'll kind of take off on its own because they bring their friends. Let's see. Optical Man Jeff, thank you very much for your kind words. Thomas Weigel, greetings from Minneapolis in 73. Lance Victor Alpha 7, Lima Tango, Quebec. Hello from British Columbia. I hope that you're not getting fires there. William Myers, the EAA, the Experimental Aircraft Association at Oshkosh, Wisconsin. Dave, if you come for it, I will do my best to meet you there. It's 3.5 hours east of my QTH. Oh, very good. Very good. Baseman Jr., moms have the most important job in the world. Absolutely they do. My mother died at 87. The first week of that, after she died, we were going through all of the things we needed to do. Dotting the I's, crossing the T's, having the funeral, which my wife and I sang at, actually. And then I got home, and then it hit me that I'd lost my mother. And 3 months, it took me 3 months to finish that initial stage of mourning her. She was a precious woman in every way. Raised 5 kids. Remember, one of my sisters asked her how she did it, and she said, well, I cried a lot. Now, my dad died at 94, but he had dementia. And his last 10 years, it was like Dad wasn't there anymore. And so it wasn't as hard, I guess because I'd already mourned him. But he died at 94. So, yeah, and Dad was a World War II vet. And at my insistence, and in collusion with the funeral home, he got a military burial with the flag and with the DAV or whatever it was there, had the trumpet or bugle play taps. And I was presented with the flag, which is right there. That is my dad's flag right there. So even though there were 5 kids, there was no question who was getting the flag, because I'm the only vet among the children. But I insisted on it. I wanted a military funeral. I didn't care about any flowers or anything like that. I wanted this nation's flag on top of that casket, and I got it. So, all right. Joseph DeRose, when I retired, it took me about a month to shake off the feeling that I was playing hooky. Yeah. William Myers, Dave, I have a similar situation regarding my retirement. Irish Scott Lad. WA8OOM, Dave, how are you feeling? Actually doing pretty good. I got to see my airplane today. It's on its wheels. It's got a lot of work to do yet, but it's on its wheels. So that's very nice. Okay, DJ Jackson, hey guys. William Myers, KE0OG, Joseph DeRose, thanks. I'm hoping that it only takes me a month. Well, very good. Yeah. Dave, have you seen an antenna that has 2 mag loops on either end of a boom? I think it may be a chameleon. I haven't looked at their website in a few weeks. I wouldn't be surprised if they did something like that. I'm not sure those are mag loops. I think those things are designed to give the antenna much wider bandwidth. But Jeff, if you can send it to Dave at arrl.org, O-R-G. Ask Dave at arrl.org. Send me a picture of it. I'd like to see it. Edhem Blakovich, for your information, we served a year apart in the Air Force. I was 76 to 80. First duty station at Eilerson in Air Force Base in Alaska. My first duty station was for training at Casler Air Force Base, Biloxi, Mississippi. And then I spent the rest of my time in the Air Force at Tampa, at MacDill. And not before I got out, I had the privilege of being on the flight line. It was a training base for WISOs, Weapons Systems Officers. And I was a lieutenant, and I was the 660th Radar Squadron. But they switched from F-4s to F-16s just before I left the Air Force. And I had the privilege of being on the tarmac when that first F-16 rolled up. Oh, what a beautiful aircraft. Oh my, I love that aircraft. I saw so many former co-workers retire. The ones with nothing to do dropped dead within 2 years. Yes. Those who couldn't wait to retire so they could do all the things they had lined up are still around. Yes, absolutely. William Myers, good night, Dave and all Augies. Thanks again for the kind words and advice. I don't want to be late for work my last day. I got to tell you, on my last day with IBM, it was mostly an out-processing day. And my wife had already made it clear that when we had a little shed outside, that we put a lot of work into converting into an office. So my commute was 50 feet. And my wife made it very clear that that was going to become her studio after I retired. And so she was already moving stuff in at noon. And I was saying, I'm still at work, but she didn't care. She was going to grab that thing. And she still has it. So, okay, and William, good luck to you. James Rockwell, Dave, I am possibly moving from a trailer home to an apartment. I have general class and wondering what to do about antennas. James, you and many, many other people have that same question. There are a variety of answers to that, from temporary antennas like this little Wolf River coil TIA, take it along. It's a very portable type of thing. And you can, you know, if you're on the first floor, just put it out back. If you're on an upper floor, you can look at a mag loop. MFJ makes an antenna that attaches to your balcony rail, and it's about 6 feet long and not very visible. And you run the counterpoise back into the house. The problem with the mag loops is they're so expensive. And if you have a very, very understanding landlord, chances of that are about 1%. But they may let you put an antenna on the roof. Okay. So you just use concrete blocks to lay out, and then you tie your guys to the concrete blocks. So you're not making any alteration to the roof. I mean, there are lots of things. This problem of trying to operate with your general and extra class privileges from an apartment is a difficult one. There isn't one easy answer. You could do a buddy poll. You could look at these Wolf River antennas things. There's lots of things you can look at. There's no universal solution. And also, there is no easy solution. So, yeah, good luck. I'd like to know how you do. It is early in the morning, 73 from Papa Echo 1. Delta Golf Whiskey. Wow. Let's see. James Rockhold wishes everybody best wishes. Alan Failer. Hello all from Ohio, which is where I wish I could have been for the Dayton Hamvention. Playback, hey, I just found your channel and I'm super interested in learning how to listen to radio signals. I think shortwave, but I'm a total novice. Okay, shortwave, I've got a video on shortwave listening. Go to my channel page. Just click on, when you're looking at one of my videos that's covering part of the screen, right under it will be my name. You'll say David Casler, Ask Dave. Click on that, it will take you to my channel homepage. And then go down and look at most watched videos. My most watched video is how to do shortwave listening. How to do shortwave listening. Over 630,000 views. So that one really hit the jackpot. So anyway, that's something you can look at. If you want to learn about ham radio, go to let's see, KE0OG.net/training. There's a video there, and it will tell you how to do that. Okay, had Valkenburg early in the morning there. Playback, good morning from the UK. What would you begin or start with ham radio? Well, I don't know all the details in the UK because it's different from the United States. I would get in touch with the RSGB, the Radio Society of Great Britain. They'll help you find a nearby club, and they can point you at where to start for British ham radio. So, okay, let's... Sean, we're not underwater at all. The American River looks great. There's a lot of water flowing, but no flooding. Mild temperatures in the 70s and a light breeze. Very good. Ted Bowman, KK7KHK. Dave, any recommendation on HF channels available and propagation at this time? There are actually pieces of software that you can look at. And if you go into my channel and search on propagation, you can get some general ideas from that. Right now, we're getting closer to the peak of the sunspot cycle, and we are going to see a lot. I would start with 20 meters. 40 meters at night might get you something good, like South Africa. 20 meters during the day and early evening. 15 and 10 are open. So take a look at those. And if you do FT8, try it on 6 meters. You might be amazed at how far you get. The whole 6 meter band can be vacant, but FT8 will be just absolutely full of life. 50.313, I think. There's a couple different FT8 frequencies on that. Okay. 3 Henry 21. Dave, I took and passed my tech and general tests at the same time. 8 months ago, you gave me the same advice about when to take extra. Sound advice. I will take 1 to 2 years to be a real general. Oh, very good. Very good. Paul Hopman. Dave, if you sell your plane, you could get one of those fancy golf carts. I do need to sell the plane because I got to pay off the Jeep. I'm using a home equity line of credit that I used to pay for the Jeep, and all I'm paying on it is interest right now. And so I need to sell the plane and retire that debt. And the only other debt I have is the house, and that's going to be gone in about 3 or 4 years. And then I won't have any debt. I will like that very much. Okay. Paul, yeah, there's nothing wrong with spending a year or so in grade before advancing. That's fine, Jerry. Hi, Dave from Victor Echo 7 BDM in Victoria, BC. We have only 2 fires burning on Vancouver Island at the moment. Vancouver Island's a nice island, but it's not that big. So, well to the north of us, so clear and sunny here. Good. Sean, Cam 6 NFO. By the way, my wife says I have no laundry skills. I'm relegated to towel duty. Very good. Bikes are RUSUSA. On my last day, I played Take This Job and shove it to the dispatcher. Oh dear, I bet a lot of people have wanted to do that. MJ has added $10 to the chat revenue. We're up to $71.80. As always, thanks for everything, Dave. Cheers. Okay, we're going to have to do this, or we're going to run out of time. Okay. Here they are. Here they are. Not as many as usual. If I'm giving a radio away, I usually get about twice this. There's one for the hotspot. That's first prize. Second prize is, where to go? That operating aid. It's here somewhere. I'll find it. Is the operating aid. So there are going to be 2 prizes given out. So I've already shuffled these. I'm going to stick my finger in the middle, put the bottom, and I'm going to take the bottom one here, which is KK7DTF, Hugo, and he's in Yuma, Arizona. Says, hello, Dave, thanks for being such a good instructor. And he actually sent a thank you card instead of a QSL card, but his information is all here. KK7 Delta Tango Foxtrot is getting the hotspot. Now let's see who gets the operating aid. I'm just going to shuffle these a little bit more. Okay, and the idea is to keep them so that I can grab one. I'll put my finger in the middle and come up with what's above it. And it's this, KD4 Yankee Delta Charlie, Fayetteville, Georgia. Robert has this, okay? And Fayetteville, Georgia is getting the operating aid that I did a video on here very recently. I think it's up. Okay, so we'll have that. And all the rest of these are going into the shred pile. I don't keep anything. I don't make lists, anything like that. These all go into the shred pile. That's why I open them before we do the drawing, just to make sure there isn't, somebody who's actually enclosed a question or something like that. And then these other 2 will go to the individuals who have won the prizes. So I don't keep records of any of that. So let's see, we got a few more comments here. Dave, don't forget the giveaway. Yes. All right. Playback. Awesome. Thank you, Dave. I'll go do that now. So bye all. Playback. Thank you so much for answering my question. I'm off to do that now. Night all. James Rockhold, thank you for the antenna information. Golf 1, Papa Zulu Sierra. It says, thanks for all you do for our hobby. Best wishes. Neil Marsh, being debt-free is wonderful. Yes, I'm looking forward to it. I've had a homeowner's loan pretty much all my life. Ralph Leland, 73 Dave, and everyone have a nice evening. Hugo Quintana, thank you, Dave. Glenn Martin, thank you, Dave, for all you do for us hams. I hope I am. And again, to get in touch with me, the best way by far is be a patron and use the patron messaging system. That gets first priority because these people are actually supporting the channel, keeping the lights on, keeping my assistant coming, helping me buy things so I can test them out for you and all that. They get first. And then second, send an email to askdave all one word, at ARRL.org, not .net, .org, okay? And that will come straight to me. It just pops into my inbox here. The other way you can get in touch with me is to send a letter to Dave Casler, KE0OG, P.O. Box 98, Ridgeway, Colorado 81432. Like I said, I open them all to see if there's a message or something like that. The nice thing about emailing is you can send drawings and stuff like that. Now, one thing that I would ask is that you not call. Sometimes what's the information that's on there makes me wonder if it's somebody that I knew from 20 years ago, and then I get into this big hairy discussion that I don't really have much time for. It really is best to send me an email because my mind works that way. So that's very good. Okay, well, we're down to 80 people, so I'm going to hang it up right now. I know last time we had the get together, it was the night before Dayton, so a lot of people were running live streams at the time, and I'd love to be making a video about Dayton maybe this coming year. We'll see. I think what scared my wife so much was the weather, how much bad weather there has been along that route between Colorado and Dayton. In past years when we've gone, it's usually been, a little light rain from time to time, but otherwise pretty benign. This year it hasn't looked so benign. There have been tornadoes and stuff like that. So let me encourage you to go ahead and watch all the videos, to share them with other people. If you are not a subscriber, please become a subscriber. And let's see. I think that's it. I love you guys. This is so much fun to get together, talk ham radio, share ideas, and you can keep me honest on what I'm doing and everything. So until we next meet, 73.